All right, we're going to be talking about Newsela. Newsela is a program. It works really well with Google Classroom. It basically lets you search and find news articles that kids can read and adjust their reading level based on their grade level. Or where they're reading at. So it gives you the opportunity to take a current event or a current news article or an older news article or a topic-based article and put it out to your classroom based on what the kids are their reading levels and where they're at. So that being said, currently Newsela has given us a free account for the rest of this, or a paid subscription account for the district for the rest of this year. Um, they do have a free account. And like I said, I don't know what it's going to look like next year. The free account will let you post articles, but you can't see the kids' progress. The kids can see their own progress, so you'd have to go check on each kid in the free account. In the paid account, you're able to see the kids' progress, what they're doing, how they've answered questions, things like that. So we're going to talk about Newsela today and what it could do for you. Okay. So I'm at the Newsela website. And I'm going to sign in and really simply sign in with Google. Sign in with my Google account. And once you're in, a couple things that might help you out here. Let me get this signed in. One of the things that I found right away that helped me out was they have an educator center right up here, this educator center. So I'm going to click that just to show you what that looks like. The educator center has a bunch of resources that can help you out. When you scroll down, there's a bunch of stuff on distance learning, because of course that's everyone's priority right now. But further down, there's a whole section on getting started with Newsela. And they have a whole bunch of short videos. You can see there's more here, getting started on how it all works. So they have a ton of stuff already prepared for you, how it works, how to do things, teaching with it, getting started, how to search it, all that kinds of stuff. So that's the Educator Center right there, and that can help you out when you get stuck on something or are looking for how to do something. So that's the Educator Center. It's right up here at the top. Okay. Now, the first thing that I did once I was signed in was I went to settings just to kind of see what there was and what was available. Now, realize this is also fairly new to me as well. I've only been looking at it the last couple of weeks. I know some of you are already using it. Some of you have activated free accounts a while back ago, so you're sitting there going, well, this is easy. So the profile, my name was already there. Subjects, you can change that. Languages spoken if you want to get into that kind of thing. Your account, it shows you registered, your role, what email preferences you want. I adjusted that right away because I was getting too many email options. So you can go through and adjust what email you want to get. And then classes right here. This was really cool. You can create a class and invite your kids in with a class code. So I can create a class, stuff like that, put a subject, grade level, and then content filter. Okay, so let's go through and just say Zon 1, grade 6, subject. We'll say it's a science class, and that yes, I want it filtered so that it's not coming up with stuff. And so now I've got this right here with a class code, and I can invite kids in that way. That's one way of doing that. And I can add a co-teacher as well. So if you want to work with several teachers and post stuff up, that way you could do that. The other thing you can do is sync a class from Google Classroom. So if you've already got kids enrolled, you can just hit the sync now, sync with Google Classroom. It might have you log in. You can select which class you want to sync and then just sync selected classes. You do have to give it a grade level. So this one, we're going to say grade 9, and a subject, we're going to say other, and sync. And it'll just pull that class in as one that you can post assignments to. So it's really easy if you're already using Google Classroom. So you'll notice I have 3 classes here synced up with Google Classroom now, and I can post assignments right to them from Newsela. So it makes it really easy. Or you could create a class, give it a grade, subject, and get a class code that you can invite kids to come join. Okay. Um, if you archive a class, so when you're done with a class, you'll notice here it says archive. I can archive that class when I'm done. It'll show up in the archived class list for you so that you can use it as a resource to see what you've did or whatever. And students here, it'll show you students that are synced up. So my test class currently has no students. The Newsela, the Zon one, there's no students, but here we can see the people that were in the GSE camp that are still active in that class, and they would be enrolled in that. If I posted an assignment, would show up for them. And then faculty, it's showing here, I can invite in faculty members. These are other people that are in, I put Endeavor as my school, so these are other Endeavor teachers that are showing up there as being part of Newsela. Okay, so that's the first thing I did, was come in and change my settings to get them the way I want, get my classes set up, get everything taken care of, and the massive amounts of email and things like that. Okay, now the other thing that is really cool about Newsela, like I said, it's basically articles that you can post up and have kids read about all kinds of different topics. So I'm going to click right here on news, and what you'll see is it'll come up with kind of current news articles that are going on. There's stuff about coronavirus, webcams, Kentucky Derby during the coronavirus. Probably everything is currently about the coronavirus. Court rules students had J.K. Rowling's with quarantine. Sanders ends his presidential bid. So there's all kinds of different news articles that I could then put for kids to read. Okay, I can assign them. So, but it also over here, you'll notice on the left-hand side, it could be done by topic. So I might just be looking for a science article. So if I click on that, it's going to be more specific. It's going to give me science articles. Okay. If I click on sports, it's going to give me sports articles. Maybe I'm dealing for PE or something. I want them to read something. If I click on money, it's going to give me financial articles. Maybe something in there would tie to math. Um, Kids are going to give me upbeat kind of kid stories. So maybe I want them to see something positive. Okay. So here with spelling bee canceled, 2 teens launch an online spelling bee. So it's kind of upbeat, kind of more positive things for kids. Okay, so that's all in the news article. Then you can go to the library up here at the top, and the library will shift it here a little bit to where I can do it by subject. So here's history and geography, humanities, government and econ, opinion pieces. So that's great for language arts, reading skills check, and science and math. So this then isolates things based on the topic, the school subject. Okay. At the top here, you'll also notice there's ELA, science, social studies. Your content is things that you're looking at or post or saved in your content. Okay. But what I really liked a lot is when I go to the search bar. So up here at the top, if I click on search, I can actually say what it is I'm looking for. So let's say I was doing ancient Egypt and I wanted to search for ancient Egypt, and I search. It's going to give me articles all about ancient Egypt right here. So there's all kinds of stuff here about ancient Egypt. So maybe I want to post something for them to read about ancient Egypt. Now, what's really cool about the search, though, is I have filters that I can filter. And I'm going to cancel that for a second. And what's cool about filters is then you can filter the articles based on particular things. Okay. You'll notice right here it says text level. If I select that, I can choose a certain text level. So if I'm teaching 6th grade, I can say I want things to be 6th grade or 5th grade. Or if I'm teaching a lower grade and I want them to read something, I can come all the way down to 2nd grade. It does not go down below 2nd grade. So this is for 2nd grade and up on reading level, all the way up to 12th grade level. Okay. Suggested for, I could be looking for lower elementary or middle school or high school articles that are written for that level. Okay. Or like I said, there's all of these filters right here. So these filters are some of the same things, grade levels, but there's some more in-depth things here. So I might look for things that are social studies, social emotional, English, articles that are specifically in Spanish. So if I had a Spanish group, I could find things that were specifically in Spanish. Format, whether they're essay, whether they're primary source, whether they're profiles or reference articles. So I can choose that kind of thing. And Whether or not they had a power words, which is an activity, and we'll talk more about that when I get to the activities with articles, whether they had a writing prompt, okay, so I can look and see if they had a writing prompt attached, or also down here where they come from, the content provider. So I could maybe search specifically for something that comes from the Encyclopedia Britannica or from history.com or how stuff works. So you can narrow it down by the content provider itself. Okay. So I'm going to come in here and this was the ancient Egypt I searched for, and I'm going to change the text level just for grade 6. And I'm going to say I want articles that are written for grade 6, and then I'm going to say apply. Now you'll notice that the articles change a little bit. Okay. These are articles just that can come down to the 6th grade reading level. Okay. So here is one on, let's see, mummy discoveries reflect lives of middle class Egyptians. And I'm going to think the kids might want to read that. I can go in and look at it. So I can go in and read the article and see what there is right here. Now, what's cool about that as a teacher is I can come in before I assign it and I can highlight things. You'll notice these words that are already highlighted. That's what they call a power word. If you click on it, it gives you the definition of it. Okay, so there's power words throughout here that kids can look at and learn about. But let's say I wanted to point something out in the article or ask a question about something. Okay, and I'm going to highlight right here middle class, and I'm going to write something right here. What does middle class mean? Question. And share. If I put out this article, it's going to show this highlight to kids that I saved it with my question. So I could do that throughout the article. I can ask questions throughout the article there that kids will see as they're reading. And it says who did it. Okay. Kids can also annotate an article as well as they're going through. So you can have them highlight uh, the main idea or the main point or key terms or um, things that illustrate certain aspects of the article. So the kids can also annotate an article just like I did there showing you that. Activities. Here it shows the activities that are available in this lesson. Okay. So here are power words. So if I click on that, it's going to show me the kids have 10 questions about power words. They can take that activity. There's a writing prompt. Okay. This is the ELA writing prompt. Write a short paragraph that explains the central idea of the article. If I wanted to focus on the ELA, but then you'll notice down here there's also a social studies writing prompt. Why is it important that Egyptians found this burial chamber? So that is more tied to social studies. Okay. And then there's a quiz that kids can take as well about the article to see whether or not they understood it. Here you'll notice there's lesson sparks. These are things that bounce out from that article and give them other things to read about. Okay. So all of that, when I assign it, is available to students to do those activities. So here now I have the option to assign. If I click assign, I'm going to select the class that it's going to, and I'm just going to put this in my test class right here, a Newsela test class. You can do multiple classes. You'll see it checks them out, checks them off right over there so that you know which one's 2 classrooms selected. I can adjust the reading level. Okay. So I'm going to say I want this to be at a 5th grade reading level, so it's not too difficult. Lock selection. Now you'll notice the text level is 5th grade. Okay. Originally it was set for 6th grade. I decided to lower it a little bit. And then I can put any instructions right here, what I want the kids to do. Read the article and do the power words and quiz. Be prepared to discuss. Now, I didn't assign them. I didn't have them do the writing prompt or anything. I could have put that in the instructions, what I wanted them to do. When I'm ready, I can save draft if I want to save it and assign it later, or I can just click assign. That then now shows up in my assignments. Okay. Right here, the middle class mummies, you'll see some other things that I assigned to kids. That goes into the assignments. The kids will now, any kid enrolled in that class would now see that as an assignment. Okay. Um, and it's sorted by newest. I can sort it by oldest, newest, oldest, right there. How, which ones? This was the first one I assigned. That was the latest one I assigned. And I can sort by classroom. So if I click on test, you'll see these two went out to that classroom. Okay. If I clicked on Newsela test, those three went to that classroom. And this one currently has no articles assigned to it. Okay. I can also find that up in my binder. Okay. I can see all classes right here, the things that were assigned to all classes. That opens up the same area. Or again, one class from the binder. And I can look at my assignments in the binder, showing all my assignments. The activity feed shows you what's been going on today. So I could see teachers that have logged into Newsela and are using it. I can see students when they log in, the activity, what they've done, the reading summary. I can see if the kids have read anything, what they've read, the reading level, the art, how many articles they've viewed, their quiz score, their writing score, the annotations they've put in, and their power word score. I can get all of that data right there, and I can download that data. Okay. And here is just about the power words. I can see how they've done for power words. And their practice and their yearly goal towards 150 words. So this is kind of a quick, easy way to put out an assignment based on a certain reading level that might be high interest for students. There's a lot of high interest things, the live webcams, this one, college kids helping Meals on Wheels, Amazon wanting to teach kids to code. The articles are supposed to be more high interest, things that kids might be interested in reading. And inside, oh, let me show you this too. This is really cool. Inside the ones that have a writing prompt, I'm going to come back in here real quick to this assignment. I'm going to go back in. I showed you the activities over here. I can actually change the topic if I want. So I can come actually write my own writing prompt right in here and save it. So that kids, when they come to the assignment, would see my writing prompt. So I can adjust it to say whatever I want right there. So that's kind of a really cool feature. You can adjust that writing prompt and put it in however you want. And once you make that change, so I can say, what do you think about Egypt in different levels of economic groups? Question. And save. Now the topic for my kids would be different because I wrote it. And then I just assign again, and it's going to make that change. So I can come in and adjust those writing prompts to be whatever I want. That's kind of a really cool feature as well. Again, I can save the draft. So I can save that into something that's going to go out later. You'll notice it says draft if I saved it as draft. Okay. And then I can look up the drafts as well, the ones right here that are drafts. So that's kind of how, and if you don't want something, you can delete it, delete the draft, yes. Okay, an article that's here. These are ones that are signed. And now, of course, it's gonna stop doing what I want it to do. Isn't that always the case? Come on, there we go. Let me come back into my assignments. So you'll notice the draft is now gone. These are the ones I've assigned. And again, there's the delete or edit for any assignment that you have posted in there. So it's a nice way to put out some ELA content, social studies articles, give them a writing prompt, and everything comes into one spot. It will, when you assign an article, it goes straight into Google Classroom if you synced it with that Google Classroom. So the kids can get that article right there, read it, and have the activities to do. If you import or make a class, then the kids would have to come in Newsela to actually see the assignments, but the kids would all have logins with Newsela as well. So when you invite kids in with a class code, they can then go to Newsela, sign in, and have access that way if you're not using Google Classroom. So it's a really nice tool. It's similar to ReadWorks and some of the other things that I know teachers out there are using. Um, Hopefully, it's something that you would find helpful, especially getting high interest reading articles out there to students.